Saturday night on this past Friday.
Uh-huh.
That shit was fire.
Really?
Yeah, it's a different type of biopic in my opinion. It was a very different type of biopic, but
But
I'm definitely.
what's the biopic for? Who's the biopic for?
It's pretty much about the first night of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm not the biggest SNL fan, but I do like the not ready for primetime players. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
first couple of seasons. So when I read that it was gonna be based off that, I'm just like, okay, now y'all got me and
Right.
shit.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I might go watch it again to be real with you.
Right.
It was just because when I went there on opening night, I kid you not, it was me and these two other white girls in the theater and shit.
Mhm.
I'm just like, so these niggas will go and see any Marvel movie, but they won't go and see this. That's crazy.
Not Marvel.
Yeah,
Not
you know me.
Marvel.
I like Marvel, but still, it's just like damn. Because you would think it's Saturday Night Live.
Right.
A lot of people go see that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, the show's been hit or miss for how many years? But I'll wait.
Well, I like SNL. I like the fact that they can bring in a different cast every year, and somehow one or
Yeah,
two of those people from that cast will blow up and go Hollywood.
right. I agree
Um,
with that.
but it's not the same cast like the 80s and 90s.
Oh no.
Very different. Even the early 2000s when they had Will Ferrell there and
Yes. Yes.
um what's his name, Jimmy Fallon. You know what I'm saying? So very different. But like people know who Kel is. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
not Kel, Keenan. You
Facts.
know, he's like probably the biggest star on that in the cast right now.
Next to Tina Fey. Well,
Right,
she's
and
a
Tina
feature.
Fey.
She's a featured player though, but still.
Right.
But I always say Tina Fey and Maya Rudolph. If Lorne Michaels wants to step down, they should take over the show. I
Yeah.
always say that
Yeah.
because whenever they do those political sketches,
Uh-huh.
that's always some of their best shit, in my
Right.
opinion.
Facts. I agree.
Q said, "Who was your favorite musician that performed on SNL?" Ooh, that's so many.
I don't know.
Honestly, I loved it when Prince did Electric Chair in the 15th anniversary.
Uh-huh.
That was always been a dope performance.
Right.
Um, when Tupac performed California Love and I Ain't Mad at You,
Uh-huh.
I love that one. I love when Neil Young did Harvest Moon. That's always been a favorite of mine too.
Uh-huh.
So many different ones and shit.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, man. One thing I do like about the SNL performances compared to like other ones, like they definitely value the live setting and just letting the artists get loose when they want to and shit, especially at that time.
Facts. Definitely.
So Kanye got sued from where I looked
Uh-huh.
up.
What do you do now?
Apparently, he drugged somebody at a Diddy party allegedly.
Wow, that's crazy.
Keyword allegedly.
Right.
Huh,
Excuse me.
bless you.
Thank
I'm about
you.
to start in like 3 minutes. Give me 1 second. Who died now? Oh, that Wanda Smith lady. Yeah, I saw some messy ass shit.
Uh-huh.
So that there's a radio personality named Wanda Smith who
Uh-huh.
passed away,
Yeah.
and I'm on Comedy Hype, and they
Mhm.
labeled it as the woman that Cat Williams roasted passed away. I'm just like, y'all did not have to say that.
Right. I saw that.
Y'all did not have to say that shit.
I saw that
Y'all
shit.
y'all messy. Y'all
Yeah.
just fucking messy.
Yeah. Facts.
That lady could have had a long ass career, and that's all y'all recognized her for. That lady could have found a cure of cancer, and that lady and y'all did that shit.
Hmm.
That's what black people, man. I tell you, they funny as hell. What's up, Mariana? What's up,
What's
Romeo?
good?
What's up? Hey, Mariana, if you don't mind me asking, where you from? Hey, where
She's
you
from here.
from? Cause
She's from Brooklyn.
oh, so she knows you. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. We all know. It's like DM the homie Delano DM the most. We like the Wu-Tang Clan of social media. We all know each other.
Oh, okay. Because I'm not gonna hold you.
Uh,
I thought she looked like Puerto Rican at first from
she
that
is.
thumbnail.
She is Puerto
Oh,
Rican.
well. I guess they're right. Okay, this is the first time. Wow. You just have to be sure. You have to be sure
Right.
these days because Dominicans don't want to be called Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans don't want to
Right.
be called Mexican.
That part. That part.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo.
One time somebody burned me alive with Sieta and shit like that just for that shit.
Right? They get heated. I'm not
For real.
Cuban. I'm not Cuban. Get it right.
Mm. I'm watching Scarface on fucking Netflix. I haven't seen Scarface in years.
Yeah.
Probably Michelle Pfeiffer's one of Michelle Pfeiffer's best roles. I'm gonna be real.
Right.
So you heard that new J. Cole song, right?
Now, I didn't get a chance to hear this on my watch list.
Ah, yeah, man. A
That's
lot of
good.
people feel a lot. I liked it, but a lot of motherfuckers they say he's Two Face and shit because it's
Is it Two
like
Face?
that's what everyone's saying now.
Really?
Because I saw a video and this cat was talking about how you gonna initiate the beef, and now you want to come off like a pacifist and shit like that too.
Wow.
And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, he did have some valid points though because you was all gungo with Drake. Now all of a sudden it's like always people in my ear. I said, now why the fuck you come out with that fucking diss track, man? Come on, man.
Right.
I swear to God, niggas just be flip flopping like pancakes.
That's funny.
I made this stuff whenever you are though.
That's funny.
All right, what's up, you two? How's everyone doing this Sunday morning? We'll see me Sunday evening. Excuse me. Well, this your boy Reg in the building. I got my homeboy trying the building with me.
Yo, what up, niggas?
I I found an album anniversary.
Oh,
It's a compilation. It's the Wu-Tang Clan. The saga continues.
oh,
This came
classic.
out. I don't know if I'll go that. I don't know if I'll go that far, but okay. This came out October 13th, 2017. I mean, I kind of call it an album, but it's labeled as a compilation. To be
Uh
real
huh.
with you,
Uh
I'm
huh.
gonna call it an unofficial album. That's what I'm
Okay.
gonna call it because it is like new shit on this album. It came out after that horrible Better Tomorrow, and they also recorded the Once Upon a Time in Shaolin album,
Right.
which we all know the controversial story with that. How they recorded like one copy, they made one copy. It's like the most expensive album ever made at this point. It's stupid. I'm gonna be real. It's kind of stupid and
Uh
pointless,
huh.
but yeah. But I'm gonna have to go through a whole video with that shit one day. So the story with this compilation was that they were working on a Better Tomorrow and stuff like that too, and they pretty much was working on this album with like all mathematic beats, with RZA of course executive producing the album and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when this album was coming out, and it was so a lot of niggas was hyping this shit up and everything like that too. They had that song "People Say" and shit like that too. I'm gonna be real with you. I've always felt like this was okay album, not the greatest thing, not a bad thing. I just thought it was generally okay. You know what I'm saying? And I do like the production. I felt like the production was great, but I don't know, man. It's like you have the Wu members, but then you have like hella guest appearances, and the guest appearances are good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind Redman. Redman, he's an unofficial member of the Wu. I don't mind Red, but it's just like they have like a hella guest appearances and shit like that too. I just want it to be. I just personally I want it to be a Wu album with just strictly just keep it in house, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? With just RZA, beats, maybe have some shit from Mathematics, Fourth Disciple, yada yada yada, and all that shit. Keep it mostly Wu members, some affiliates here and there. That's just always been my perfect shit. But at the same time, it's like they will never drop an album like that again, in my personal opinion and shit. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's no shot against the Wu because I'm a huge Wu fan, but I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like they've been hit or miss after the W in terms of group albums.
Right.
Keyword is group albums because the solo albums, I'm just gonna base that off the artist's reputation. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have a good Ray album, but then you might have a Meth album. You might have a good Ghost album, but then you might have an ODB album and shit like this. Is the solo albums are one thing, but the group albums, when it comes to the Wu, that's another thing. But what do you think about the album? Let me be real.
I just happen to have it, Reg. Look at that. It's
Oh wow,
magic.
okay.
I think I showed this off at one of the collection. I want to say one of the collection live streams we did. I showed it off, but I thought it was a great album. Mathematics production was great. Going forward, I even said like if they do another Wu Tang album, it has to be the Wu Element producers. Mathematics and Fourth Disciple, Bronze Nazareth, True Master. I think they should handle the production, not RZA. Because to me, RZA fell off decades ago. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But when you have Mathematics still has that Wu sound. You know what I'm saying? And Red and Meth was the MVP of this album because they were all over the album. On Hood Go Bang and Lessons Learned. They were the stars of the album. Without them, the album wouldn't be good. You know what I'm saying? Like I know Redman is like an honorary Wu member. They brought him in. They killed it. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I feel like if you have another Wu album, Red got to be on there as well. I definitely would have him
Oh
on there.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because he was on the W. He was on the what's that joint he was on I forgot the name of that joint on the W. But you gotta include him on this because he goes perfect with the other Wu members. You know what I'm saying? And I think Mathematics. He was downplaying it. Oh, it's not a Wu album. It's my album featuring Wu, but it's a Wu album. That's the only people that was on the album. It wasn't like he had different artists on the album. It was all Wu members. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
thought it was a great album.
And like I said, I respect your opinion. I said, I remember when the album came out and shit like
Mm-hmm.
that. And
Yeah.
this was the era of the blogs and all that. And people were saying, "Oh, this is just as good as 36 Chambers." And I already knew that was fucking cap because
No.
I know they can never in their wildest life top 36 Chambers or even
Right.
motherfucking Wu Tang ever. I'm gonna be
Right.
real with you. Those first two albums,
They won't
niggas
top
cannot
that.
top.
They'll never top that again.
They'll never top that.
You know.
So
But
yeah,
I will say it was better than their latter shit. It's better than Iron Flag. It's better. It's definitely better than Eight Diagrams and A Better Tomorrow. So I will say this is their best album since the W.
I'm a have a hot take. I kind of prefer the 8 diagrams over this one.
No,
That's
you're
my hot
crazy.
take.
Yeah, you
That
gotta review that album, man. You're crazy. Well, they didn't even promote that album. That was under
eight
Steve
diagrams,
Wilson's new label.
the 8 diagrams was not the greatest thing, but it was fire. I liked it
Ah man,
and shit
you
like
gotta you
that.
gotta review that then, because ain't
Okay.
no way that's better than this.
Well, we gotta do a few Wu albums in between before
Mm.
we get there, because then
Well, I
then
mean,
we'll
we left off with what, Iron Flag.
yeah. But I
All
said
right,
we're
so
gonna
the
do
next
RZA.
one is Eight Diagrams, and then A Better Tomorrow.
I know, but you know how I always like to do some solo albums in between. You
Right.
know how I always like to do. So we're gonna talk about 8 diagrams though. I want to get Convey on that shit too.
Yeah. Knowing
I
him,
get
you'll call Eight Diagrams a classic.
shit. I say 8 diagrams is way better than Iron Flag too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That was it
Yeah.
was better, but it wasn't promoted, and it's a shame that I don't know what Steve Rifkin was doing.
Well, you know the story because Ray and Ghost was going against RZA because they didn't like
Right.
the production RZA was doing.
Right.
Honestly, if RZA that I like that the production from RZA, that orchestral production.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the production. Don't get me wrong, but it's like some of the beats did sound similar. I'll give you that. I'll give them that.
Kristen
But
said, "Have you guys ever did? I don't know if Red, you like Flea Lord? I don't know. We never did no Flea Lord reviews.
I mean, I like Flea Lord, but I've never done no reviews either from him because
I
I'm
haven't
not like the
listened to
biggest
a Flea Lord album in a minute, yo. It's been a minute.
facts. But yeah, man, that's just my hot take right there. So we're gonna jump back into 8 Ball at MJG with their second album on the Outside Looking In. This album came out 1994, 1 year after Coming Out Hard. I swear to God, these album titles. I swear to God. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, man. Singles albums was known for are okay. So they have a few singles here and there now. So Players Night Out, Break 'Em Off. No, wait. Okay, somebody from Wikipedia clearly does not know the albums and shit like that. Cause okay, so Break 'Em Off. Give me 1 sec. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Break 'Em Off and Players Night Out. Those were the singles. I don't know why they put Space Age Pimpin' when Space Age Pimpin' was the next album, but
Right.
okay. Okay. Um, producers. This time you got a little different. You got South O and 8 Ball at MJG. So they did some of the production here. Okay. Guest appearances include MC Breed, Papa Woe, Crime Boss, and Thorough. Papa Rowe, Thorough. All right. So I'm gonna be real with you. There's not really that much to really talk about in between coming out hard in this album and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? Cause coming out hard was like more of like a regional, it was more like a regional hit
Mhm.
and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? Even though it did peak at number 40 in the R&B hip hop albums chart, which is at that time people were just lucky to be in the top 40 at that time and shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So technically they were successful. If you were in the top 40 at that time, you were successful. But these days, niggas about looking at it as a flop. But that's another story for a different day. So 1 year later, they worked on this album. They started getting like a bit more creative control, as you can see with the production and everything like that too. Even though they did use like certain popular samples at that time too, which again, we'll definitely talk about that shit. Which is nothing really wrong with that, but if you listen to one sample, he's like, okay, hey, that's came from such and such, such and such, such and such and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, this is the album cover right here. Still on that pen and pixel album cover, kind of trippy if you ask me, and stuff like that. I thought that was low key like a tennis ball. I was like, why is he looking through a tennis ball or some shit like that? But yeah, I looked close. I was like, oh, that's supposed to be a doorknob.
Right.
But then why is he looking through the who was doing these album covers at these times? I love Southern hip hop. I've always loved Southern hip hop. Sometimes I'm not gonna hold you. They would just throw in any fucking thing on an album cover and shit like that, and just call that shit art. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I'm just looking at myself like, why the fuck are you looking through the damn door hole and there's a car? How the fuck you get a car in the room with? Oh, you know what? Maybe it's just the weed in me talking. Maybe it's just I don't know. I just I just always thought to myself like, is that like a pool ball, a tennis ball?
Mhm.
Like, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I have to say. So this album got 12 tracks, and we're gonna start off with the first song called "Long Distance Intro." You know what I'm saying? Which is pretty much them on the phone with each other talking about blowing up the spot and stuff on that pimp shit. You know,
Yeah. Basically,
That's-
just start the intro, and they on the phone and
yeah,
all that. You know.
because any gangster rap album at the time, you always have to have an intro with somebody on the fucking phone.
Right.
It's like with hood movies, you have narration. Rap albums, you just have motherfuckers on the phone and shit. Like,
Mhm. Right. Facts.
oh Jesus Christ. Okay. Hmm. Which brings us into track number 2, and that is actually Lick 'em Up Shot featuring Papa Wu. This one was pretty straight, you know what I'm saying? On some gangster shit. You know what I'm saying? Papa Wu, he's pretty much like a Trinidad rapper and stuff like that too. He was, from what I'm looking up, he was signed to Cash Money Records and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? I think this was like, yeah, this was definitely the Magic School Bus era of Cash Money Records and shit.
A world
Let
record
me
label.
stop.
Shout out to them.
Let me stop. Let me stop.
No.
You know, the early Cash Money records, I'm talking like mid 90s, before
Right.
97, that was the more boom bap southern hip hop, like the UNVs and all that. But
Mhm.
then once the Hot Boys came out and all that, that's when Manny Fresh came out with them honky dory kind of beats and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, and
Yeah.
I like Manny Fresh. I don't want, that's not a diss against southern hip hop. I like them kind of beats, but sometimes some of them beats that have not aged well. I'm gonna be real, like ding 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 ding, like them kind of shits. You know.
Yeah. You're right. You know. Yeah, it was. I like the beat. I didn't care for the dude trying to sound Jamaican on it though.
Of course, yeah. I forgot about that
Mm,
because they caught the reggae fever as usual.
right.
Because you can't be a rap album without somebody how to go you know, speaking patois and shit like that.
What was that?
Even though I don't know. Even though I liked it when NWA had that nigga and always into something
Hmm.
and shit like that. He killed that shit. I like when he did that shit. But yeah. Track number 3, Crumbs and Bricks. Yeah, this one right here is one of my favorites off this album, to be real with you.
Hmm.
Excuse me, Crumbs 2 Bricks, excuse me. Um Pretty much, just on some hood shit and stuff like that too, and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Talking about these hoes ain't loyal before Chris Brown even came up with it and
Right.
everything like that too.
Because we forget he's such an innovator of shit.
Right, right. Cause he's the one that warned us about hoes and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
Oh, Lord have mercy. But yeah, this one right here was pretty hot. I like this one.
Yeah, this was dope. I definitely enjoyed this one. And you had it was a very smooth track. You had 8 Ball saying niggas fighting for hope. He said niggas fighting for hoes and hoes pimp 'em well, and most of them busters end up dead or in the jail cell. It had like a G funk sound, and I loved it.
Yeah, it definitely. You know what? Speaking of G Funk, you can definitely see the Death Row influence with this track
Oh yeah,
right here.
yeah.
Like I can see like the Dog Pound on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what's that cat's name? What's that? Sam Sneed. There's
Sam
definitely I can
Smith.
see definitely Sam Sneed on this one and shit too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Sam Sneed, y'all look him up, man. Like y'all look his ass up. Um, Next track is called Players Night Out. One of my all-time favorite tracks on this album. It uses the Not Just Knee Deep sample. You guys should already know that. I'm not even mad at that snitch dog. Y'all should already know that's not just Knee Deep because everybody from De La Soul to Snoop Dogg use that motherfucker and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like a nice little going out. This is like their nothing but a G thing, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? This is their nothing but a G thing. This was their picture nothing but a G thing mixed in with Southern playalistic Cadillac music, if
Mm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
No. I take that back. I take that
Take
back.
it back.
Players ball, players ball. Nothing but a G thing and players ball. Picture that together
Mm.
and stuff like that. I'm not surprised that this was a single. You know what I'm saying? I'm not surprised and shit. They definitely did a thing on the beat. Now, it's not the best version I've heard of Not Just Knee Deep. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I don't think it's the best one. Surprisingly, I feel like De La Soul did the sample the best, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Especially
Don't
when
you
they
love the
added the
chorus
scrap.
when they singing?
You said what?
Don't you love the chorus when they singing?
Who De La?
No, on here on this beat.
Oh, I
They
love
got
the
some.
chorus. I love it.
Whoa, it's the
I felt
players. Huh?
it gave it that Memphis flavor and stuff
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
too. You know,
Memphis and Parliament together.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yeah. This should have been a single. They needed a video for this joint, and I think it would have been good if they had George Clinton on here as well.
I think it
You
was a
know,
single.
oh, it was a single, but I mean, they
Yeah.
should have had like a version where George Clinton was like on it, like just talking his shit in the background.
Yes. Like
You
like
know
I'm
what I
like
mean?
I'm both from Jamal and shit.
Right, or like on Bop Gun with Ice Cube. Like Bop Gun was a hit because he was on there. You
I'm gonna
know,
be real with you.
uh,
Hot
you didn't like
take.
Bop Gun?
I loved it, but it was too fucking long. It was too fucking long. I'm just like,
So
okay.
was a lot of George Clinton records. What you mean?
Yeah, but still, here's the thing with them records, though.
Mhm.
With them records, they did a lot of beat switches and they did a lot of funkier stuff that just grabbed the audience attention.
Right.
We got okay. It's like okay, Ice Cube, like 9 minutes. I think it was actually like 11 minutes. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
Cube, 6 minutes. I can,
There's like a long version and a short version.
yeah, the long
Mhm.
version like 10, 11 minutes. So I was like, okay, not even a lot of P Funk songs are that long and shit. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck if you want to go
No,
that
what
far.
you mean? Knee Deep is like 11 minutes.
Well,
You know,
technically, it was about 15, technically, but
15.
still. But let me tell you, that had beat switches, and then
Mhm.
Felipe came in. I got
Mhm.
Anson up, Anson. Come on, Felipe carried that fucking song.
Uh-huh.
And that's Felipe Wine from the Spinners, by the way, just y'all in case y'all don't know. Because you know, these are young people like, who's Felipe? And the shit like, who's Felipe? He's he Hispanic?
Right. Who
Like,
Felipe?
I know somebody's going to ask me, who the fuck is Felipe on the chat and shit.
Oh Lord. I'm still one. I'm like Felipe. Who the fuck was that?
Yeah, Felipe Wine from the Spinners, you know?
Right.
Because you know he left the Spanish. He thought he was gonna be a big star, but he became a background singer for Parliament and Funkadelic for a while. Wow,
That part.
chill out, chill out. He did his thing though. He laid his ground on that because
Mhm.
not just be deep. If you see him performing that shit live
Mhm.
and shit like that, that's why a lot of people say he was the original rapper because the way he was flowing and shit like that, it resembled like a rapper, like some how like picture like the Black Howard Cosell, if that makes
Mhm.
sense, you know.
Yeah.
But But yeah, man, he had his own David Ruffin moment, and look what
I
happened.
mean,
That's all. Like,
right. Yeah, but he, like you said, he was a background singer. You got it. If he wasn't up front
yeah,
on stage, they don't
yeah,
remember you.
and that's like his
You
best
have to
known
wear a damn
contribution.
diaper for them to remember you.
Chill out, and that was like his damn contribution to P Funk. Let's be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Look who came on the chat, bro.
Hey, Miss Gigolo, what's good? Yeah, Bopkin
Let
was
it.
great. I love Bopkin. That was a great song. I
Yeah,
think like for this, like if they came out with like a radio mix for this, and they had George Clinton, talking this shit in the background, I think that would have been great too.
right.
You know what I mean? But it's a great song. You had 8 Ball saying Splitter, then get up and leave the whole bitter because a player like myself does not want to get with her. So
Mm.
I thought the track was fire, man.
Yeah, yeah. This one was definitely fire. All right. Next track we got is Sess Head Funk Junkie featuring MC Breed. Now I said this before. I'm not the biggest MC Breed fan. I'm gonna be real with you. No niggas in the West Coast probably getting mad at me right now because they cherish MC Breed. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I'm
you just
sorry.
got him followed by all the West Coast, all the West Coast rappers. Let me unfollow this nigga.
I like the song he did with Pac though. The song I think called "Gotta Get
Yeah,
Mine," some shit
that
like
was
that.
great. Yeah.
That was great, but he's a dope rapper. I just never got into his music like that. But this might be one of my favorite guest appearances he's ever done on a track. You know what I'm saying? And that's a thing though. That's a thing about the West and the South and stuff like
Mhm,
that too. They weren't really afraid to collaborate with one another. Because
mhm,
I like when a lot of these Southern hip hop albums had like a lot of underground West Coast cats and shit like that too. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Or even featuring cats too. But then at the time, the East Coast niggas was making fun of the Southern hip hop, cough cough, Run DMC, and Two Live Crew and shit like that too. You know?
The only West Coast follower you're gonna have left is Q because he's hoping one day we do like the little Bow Wow discography breakdown. That will never happen.
Speaking of Bow Wow, he's the latest celebrity that defended Diddy. He's talking about
That's right.
Bow Wow said in the interview, man, ever since Diddy's been locked up, shit's been kind of bad. There's been no
Yeah.
parties and shit like
You
that.
think so, Bow Wow?
Like, Bow Wow,
You think so?
why do you always say the most dumbest? If he actually said this shit, I'm just like, you know what, Bow Wow, I'm
Chad?
just gonna just let him eat your ass up.
Yeah. You think so, Chad?
people's lives when threatened and shit like that. All these niggas worry about his party. We're just worried about your damn do-rag business at your like damn nigga, you have the most successful do-rag business. You saying stupid shit like this.
He ain't even got the best ones, man. I seen better than those. He ain't got the best.
Man, I've seen them do-rags in flea markets, man, in dollar stores.
That's the Walmart do rag. That's the nigga starter kid at Walmart.
At the same time, I'm glad he's being successful. Don't get me wrong, but still, it's just like, come on, Shad. Come on, Shad.
Come on, Shad.
Your name is Shad. Like Shad. That's your name, Shad.
Oh man. I thought it was Chad, and you just changed it with an S.
Bro, I thought it was Chad too. Nigga.
Chad. That's not how you spell Chad. It's with a C.
I was like, yo, why do niggas always spell their names in some fancy ass way and some shit? Like, come on, man. Come on, bro.
Come on, Chad.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna.
This was dope. I like.
Oh, okay, so
yeah. Monkey track.
Yeah.
This is good.
Next track is called "So What You Saying." I thought they were about to cover EPMD for a minute, boy.
Yes.
I thought they were about to do like a Southern EPMD kind of flavor. We might have some Eric Sermon or something. I could have sworn Eric Sermon did some shit for 8Ball or MJG, right?
He did?
Maybe, because he was in the South like when they were like really blowing up. I don't know, but I could be wrong. What's up, John? How you doing?
John, what's up?
He said, "Oh, Bree was from Flint, Michigan. Oh, I never knew he was from Flint, Michigan. Oh, wow. See, y'all teaching me something new. Okay, but yeah. So what you're saying was pretty straight.
Yeah, this was fire. Definitely loved the beat for this. The bass line, the guy in the chorus. I think he sounded a lot like Marvin Gaye in October London.
Yeah.
Even though October London is brand new, but he like October London sounds like Marvin Gaye.
Let's not go that far.
I don't know if he's trying to break away from the Marvin thing, but he still sounds like Marvin Gaye. Even when
I heard some of his new album, and yeah, I'm just like, it's good, but it's just like, dude,
it's not as great as the last album.
We're going to talk about that this month, though.
And he said purposely that he's trying he's trying different things. He don't want the new stuff to sound like his last album because everybody compared him to Marvin Gaye.
Well, if you have an album called The Rebirth of Marvin, what do you expect?
Exactly. So
for that, and I told us the R&B cats this, but niggas will look at me like, "Oh, you hating and shit like that." I said, "Nigga, if he does the album like that, if you name the album, it's gonna be a blessing and a motherfucking curse because niggas are not gonna find your true authenticity, your true artistry."
Right.
Like, don't get me. I like Silk Sonics, dope. I like Anderson. I like Bruno Mars, but niggas was saying, "Oh, this is just not grind. This is just 70s soul and shit like that." You know what I'm saying? But then you have a motherfucker like when Childish did "My Love." It was some 70s kind of shit, but then he brought something new to it. You know what I'm saying? He added some African elements. He added some. It was just a complete package, which I feel like that was his last great album. I'm gonna be real with you.
Facts. I like some songs on the new album, but it wasn't his best shit.
Right.
Yeah. This is good though.
Definitely. All right, next track. Oh man, No Sellout. Very dope track. He did kind of throw a shot at some East Coast rap. 8Ball threw a shot like some East Coast rappers or some shit in the first verse, talking about mental corruption erupting through this industry. All I see is New York rappers back and forth on BET. See, I'm the first true Southern funkadelic preacher. Nah, I think that's Scarface, but okay. Drink a yak and smoke a blunt and watch it get deeper. I was like, damn, why you have to throw New York rappers under the bus like that?
Yeah, and then you end up signing with Bad Boy, so make it make sense. Wow. That part.
Right. But anyway, this is a song about staying true to yourself and stuff like that. I do like this song. and stuff. It's definitely a favorite of mine, but still, it's pretty good.
Yeah, this beat was fire. Um, we had MJG saying hard times make hard heads in the South. You get respect being real, no sellout. Definitely a banger.
Yeah, I agree. Next track, Another Day in the Hood. Probably my favorite track on this album. To be well, actually, no. Wait a minute. Nah. I take that back because there's another
Mhm.
track later on. But this is when the last couple of tracks was when I felt like they were dropping some of the best shit.
Mhm.
Yet again, you use a familiar sample, Mary
Right.
Jane from Rick James.
Uh huh.
I love me the original Slick Rick. I love the original Slick Rick, but
Right.
I have to put Mary Jane in the same category as Remind Me because every motherfucker use Mary Jane if they want to talk about like another day in the hood,
Right.
smoking weed, and stuff like that. Which don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
I've heard so many great Rick James samples on Mary Jane.
Right.
I feel like honestly the best one, it has to be a toss up between Mac 10 on them things because he actually had the Mary Jane girls
On
there,
them things. Dun, dun,
and
dun, dun, dun.
Redman Redman Smoke Buddha from Muddy
Smoke Buddha,
Waters and
yes.
shit.
That was my joint.
Smoke
We
Buddha,
need a video for that one. For Smoke Buddha.
fake ass Nate Dogg and shit. but but yeah, man, it's just like Rick James has so many. I'm not trying to sample like, I'm just like, damn, y'all niggas always use Mary Jane, Give It to Me,
Mhm.
Baby, and
Yeah.
shit like that. The same
Right.
ones and shit. Just like, goddamn. Hell, if you want to if you want to be technical, Mary Jane Girls all night long. But I love that record though. That's
Mm-hmm.
my shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, but this one was pretty good. I love this record right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this one was fire, definitely. Love the Rick James sample. The Brat also used that for sitting on top of the world, which I hated. You
Of course.
But 8 Ball said, but like my dad, I was stuck in the streets. I never worked hard because that shit wasn't for me. Fire track.
Mm. Yeah, definitely a fire track.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next track we got is No Mercy. Now this they were really on some gangster shit with this one. I feel like this definitely is like their vintage style with this track right here and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Pretty dope track. I love the beat that they produced and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? I could have easily seen this being on the first album as well too. You know what I'm saying? Just based on the subject matter.
And they sampled the Isaac Hayes joint, Walk On By.
Again, another popular sample niggas be using it. Compton's Most Wanted used that one.
Facts.
I want to say Dre used it. I want to say, but all them West Coast cats used that shit. Biggie, Warning.
One
That might be the best.
Canadian, an East Coast, and then some West Coast guys.
Yeah. Now, honestly,
Mm,
I feel like Compton's Most Wanted used that the best
yeah,
with Put Took Me Under.
right.
Then I would say Biggie's Warning
Mm,
and stuff like that.
that's
Especially
right.
them Easy Mo B beats with that. Dun, dun, dun. Like, I know he originally made that for Big Daddy Kane, but I cannot see Kane on that beat.
Really? Yeah, he made one
Yeah,
for Kane,
yeah.
and Kane
Because
passed it up.
Kane passed it up.
And instead he gave us shit like very special.
I'm glad Kane passed that up, honestly.
I could
Because
hear Kane on that though. I could definitely hear Kane on that.
yeah, because that was I think that was
That plays into his Dark Gable image, wearing the suits and everything.
Clark Gable.
Dark Gable, yes. Well, he called himself Dark Gable. That's where
Yeah.
that was the nickname.
But that I know that would have been like what's this? What's the album? What's the album?
Daddy's Home. That would have been on Daddy's
Daddy's
Home.
Home.
Yeah.
And with some of them punchlines he was doing on that album, I'm gonna be real with you. I do not want to hear Kane on that beat. If he's gonna say some shit like if I fought on the record, trust me, nigga, it's gonna sound good. And I love Big Daddy Kane. I love Big
What?
Daddy Kane.
What's the line you said about Sylvester Stallone? You remember that line?
Oh man. I forgot. I know which one you're talking about, but it was like I'm like, really, Kane?
Lazy
Like
Kane with the pen.
Daddy's home, man. I don't know what his pen game was on with that album. I don't know what he was trying to prove with that album. I'm just like, dude, looks like a Job 4 was like your comeback. I'm just like, nigga, you could have waited to like 95, 96.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that if Ken had that beat, it would have been good, but it wouldn't have been a big hit for him like it was for Biggie.
But Daddy's Home did have some classic joint. I love In the PJs. That's my joint.
I love that joint. That's my joint right there.
According to the Prince of Darkness. Come on.
Definitely. That's
Miracle Gymnastics.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I even like Show and Prove, but I feel like Kane disappointed me on Show and Prove.
See, you know what? I love the Posse cut. I didn't like the Primo beat though. I'm like, that's
really what?
Yeah, I didn't care for the Primo beats. I did not like that. And that's early Primo. I didn't care for that one.
Man, that's one of my favorite Primo beats, man.
Nah, I never cared for it like that.
I just feel like Kane and Scrap Lover, Scoops, whatever one of them lovers, they had hey, laugh now, nigga. I was like, what the fuck, man?
I remember that, especially when he tried to come out solo with that voice.
Sound like Mandar from Dexter's Laboratory and shit, man. Get the fuck out of here. Shit. Don't give me. Oh, and they were still trying to dance in '94, man.
Yeah, he was still dancing. Yeah,
man. I bet you if Puffy was popping that time, him and Scrap Man would have been dancing.
He would have been on. They would have been on Bad Boy for sure.
They would have been on Bad Boy
for sure.
Because Kane said in the interview, if he would have came out in '94, '95 on Bad Boy, he would have been the best rapper.
Definitely. Him and Big together on Bad Boy would have been crazy.
Woo! I don't know. I don't want Kane wearing those shiny suits. I don't. But
that was his thing. He was already wearing shiny pants, so he fit right in.
That is true.
Remember, he had the orange shiny pants and what's it? Looks like I get the job.
Yeah.
So he would have fit in with them.
Okay. Oh yeah. You know you right.
Bad Boy. What?
Puffy would have made bank.
Yeah, and then you bring in the Locks later and Mace, and that would have been crazy.
But you want to sign New Edition without Bobby.
Oh man.
And next track. I'm on fire tonight, boy. Oh man. But I gotta be done at least by 9 o'clock. I gotta get some rest for work too. So but on the title track, on the Outside Looking In. This is actually my favorite track on the album, to be real with you. He finally explained what the title meant. Pretty much, you have the judges, and the no-sayers talking about, oh, you a gangster because you a hustler, you always in the street. But what they're trying to talk about is like they're trying to do this shit to survive in the streets and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely like this joint right here. I definitely felt it's what's his name? I want to say it's an MJG solo track. If I'm not mistaken. Hold on. Yeah, it's an MJG solo track. He had a line where he said, "My lawyer was a snitch, got me framed, started bugging. My motherfucking phone and the judge was his cousin. It's hard thinking positive with negative around me. So I had to relate to the ground that surrounded the house and the mountain where I chill." Now think about all the motherfucking rappers who got held up and shit like that, and they had the power to be trying to plot against them and shit. So they were talking about some shit on this record. You know, they were talking about some shit. Very, very dope track.
Yeah, this is fire. I like the beat for this. Definitely, they did their thing on here.
Definitely. And now here's the funniest title on the album: "Break a Bitch College." Damn.
Where can I sign up for that? For that one?
You said what?
Where can I sign up for that college?
ICDC College. Yeah, this one right here was pretty cool. Definitely, how can I put this? Definitely like saying don't let the hoes play you and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know me. I don't want when I talk about hoes, I'm talking about in the context of the song, y'all. You know, I just want to break that shit down for y'all.
Yeah, lying. You have your whole stories.
You said what?
You have your whole stories.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Story time with Reg. That was all about hoes. What do you mean?
Hey, I don't fuck with hoes. I fuck with women. Let's just
Oh,
be real.
excuse me.
I fuck with
7 years ago, it was story time with Reg talking about your different hoes and shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They were hoes. That's why I dropped them and shit like that. That's the difference. They were hoes. That's why I dropped them. But at the same time, I mean, yeah, I date around and shit like that. That don't mean that. See, that don't mean I always deal with hoes and shit.
Mm.
I just always catch women doing some stupid shit, and then you just always gotta say, hey, 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 I ain't having that motherfucking shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all you. That's all
Right.
you gotta say.
Right.
You gotta let them know you ain't having that motherfucking shit. That means you. I mean, that don't mean you gotta hit them. Hey, dun 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 dun.
No Ike Turners here. We ain't promoting Ike
Yeah.
Turner.
No, no Diddy.
Nah, no Diddy.
Honestly, Diddy did worse than Ike. Honestly,
Right?
I
Worse.
Diddy just beat Ike, James Brown,
Right.
and Chris Brown all at
Right.
once. Like we
Bobby
don't
Brown.
say no Ike.
He beat all the
We don't
Browns in one. Bobby, Chris,
Bobby. Bobby was not really that bad. Bobby
Bobby
didn't do
would go
that.
after the media though.
He would go after the media,
Hmm.
but
I mean,
even Whitney said
supposedly there was rumors that he did put hands on Whitney.
Whitney said I know what you're talking about. Even Whitney said in the interview that was like over exaggeration
Oh,
because
okay.
it was just a scuffle. It was a scuffle and stuff like that. And I think somebody had called the cops because they heard a disturbance, some shit.
Right.
It's all in the fucking movie and stuff like that. But I do know what you're saying. Men
Hmm.
should not hit women. Women should not hit men.
Right.
We don't promote that shit. But at the same time, we don't love these hoes. At the
I
same
just
time,
want to love you, girl. I don't want to hit you.
we don't love these hoes.
What's that name of the song?
You said what?
Oh, These Hoes Ain't Loyal. My bad. The Chris Brown song.
No, but there's also a song called "We Don't Love These
You
Hoes."
don't love you this song? Yes, of course. Oh man.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I have to say about this
Wake a
song.
Bitch College. Just the name, the title alone is classic. I love it.
Yes,
The beat was fire. April saying, calm cause I'm cool and I'm cool cause I'm calm. Leaving hoes shell shocked like they fell in Vietnam. Classic. Classic joint. This should have had a video too.
yeah, I definitely agree with you about that. All right, give me 1 second.
Oh man.
Give me one. Fuck. All right. Next track we got is the last track, and I'm just gonna say lay it down
Mhm.
because I think the Spotify version they threw in their DJ Screw remix. I don't
Right.
know if you. I don't really want to talk about a DJ Screw. Me, I don't really care for that chop and screw sound like that. But
Right.
lay it down, featuring Thorough and Crime. This might be my least favorite track on the album. To be real with you.
Yeah. It was cool. It had nice some strings on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't really anything groundbreaking to be real, but it
Right.
is what it is.
Hmm.
Overall, this is actually a pretty good album, but at the same time, in terms of like their classic run, and when I mean it like from like '93 to '99, it's my
Hmm.
least favorite their classic run and stuff like that too. Just because I felt like it was good, but I feel like it was pretty much like an extension on the first album, if that makes sense too. You know what I'm saying? Production wise, they definitely was trying to find their sound. They use like a lot of like familiar. They definitely use like a lot of familiar samples and
Hmm.
stuff like that too. Which again, if you just look up a rap song in 1993, you'll be surprised how many motherfuckers use what's his name, Rick James, Mary Jane, and shit like that too. Which
Right.
again was not bad and stuff like that too. Because at the same time, I love me a good sample if it's used right. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But at the same time too, if you listen and you reviewed as many projects as me and Try has done, and you be like, oh, hey, we saw this sample here and there, and they use it the same way and stuff like that too. Then of course, you're gonna
Right.
say a little something about that, and yeah, and that's what we have to say. But overall, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. I still feel like it is a very solid album,
Yeah.
but Their best shit is coming next week. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, definitely. A solid album production. You know, the lyrics and you know, we got joints like Plays Night Out and Another Day in the Hood and So What You Saying, Crumbs to Bricks. I'm giving it 4 mics too.
Definitely. Yeah, man. Um, so now we're gonna do something different. So we're gonna actually do a part one of our underrated hip hop debuts because
Yeah.
niggas always want to say, "Oh, this we're gonna do top favorite album '94, favorite album '98." We don't know that shit. We don't know that shit
Right.
before. One of the underrated albums.
Mm,
I watched this one YouTuber, right?
right.
Some some of the motherfucking albums he says are quote unquote underrated. I'm just like, nigga, these are not underrated. These might be underrated to the pop community, but for us, we crave that shit. So
Right.
I think to myself, we gotta really put a stamp on these motherfuckers because
Yeah. Facts.
we want to. Because we're not gonna mention the Illmatics. We're
Yeah,
not
it
gonna
matters.
mention Reasonable Doubts, the Rated Eyes,
Nope.
the Apocalypse Now,
Nope.
the Six Chambers, the American. We're not gonna mention the known class. We're gonna mention some of the deep dive classics.
Right.
Now, a little disclaimer: the artists cannot be on this list if they quote unquote have an indie album and followed up with a major label debut. So you won't see Eminem Slim Shady LP. You won't see Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. Um, Also, if the artist dropped an EP, but they followed up with an album, they're not eligible. Like, unfortunately, I love E1990 Eternal.
Mm.
That's not going to be on this list. And besides, that album's not underrated either. I'm just going to be real with you about that. You know what I'm saying? But anything you want to say before we start, Try? Because
I had to change my list because I thought it was just underrated albums all you know, in general.
oh yeah, because yeah, I sent you this. I said the underrated debuts and shit.
Right.
But
Okay.
I feel you because I have to actually redo my list because I actually threw in a major label debut, and then one album I thought was a debut. It was not a debut. I'm just like, damn, fuck.
Right.
Now I do have a tie on this list
Mm.
because two albums came out in I want to say '92,
Mm.
and I had to put some respect on one of those albums though. But without further ado, I'm gonna start off slow. We're gonna take it to 1988.
Mm.
Okay. So when it comes to this album from '88, I definitely feel like this album to me definitely was a classic when it comes to like the golden age of hip hop and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers might not give this like debut is just due sometimes
Mm.
because of the fact that quote unquote it's not your typical hip hop album at the time and stuff like that. But if you heard the album and stuff, you would know
Right.
it sounded like it could have been made in 1993.
Mm.
And that honor goes to the Jungle Brothers with Straight Out the Jungle.
I
I'm trying
almost
to
put that. I almost put that.
I'm trying to share the album cover right quick, but
Well, I got it on cassette. I just don't feel like going to get it right now.
yeah, you know me, man.
Mm.
I would dig in deep, but the way
Yeah.
how I stack these keys and shit, I'm like,
Yeah.
nigga, I'm not trying to have keys fall on
I'm
me like
feeling
that.
like an old man this week. I ain't feel like pulling on no albums. So
Man, I feel you. I feel you on that, boy. Sometimes I feel like an old man. I'm just like, damn, why am I feeling like an old man? I'm not even 30 yet. What the fuck am I doing? Get your ass up, Reggie. But yeah, straight out the motherfucking jungle. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Yeah, fuck y'all. We reviewed this album before, so y'all should
yeah.
know. So
Okay.
this is actually my favorite Jungle Brothers album. You only hear a lot of motherfuckers say this. Not only was this their first album, but this was actually the first album from the Native Tongues. You
Right.
know, Native Tongues that consist of De La Soul and Tribe Called
Mhm.
Quest, and
Right.
everyone just wants to focus on De La and Tribe. They forget about Black Sheep and Queen Latifah and Chi Ali. But
Right.
then these motherfuckers right here were the originators of that sound and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If the album itself is not even mixing massive right, but you know what? I don't give a fuck because it sounds good the way it sounds. They're talking about, oh well, this should be mastered right. This should be mixed
They
right and shit like
they came
that
out with a
too.
remastered version though.
Yeah, but I want the OG version and shit. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I like my shit dirty. I like that shit raw and fucking
Right.
dirty, bro.
And if Primo could do it, why not them?
Yeah. So yeah, man. Shit, my mom's calling me. Shit, I'm gonna call her later. But yeah, man. But songs like Straight Outta the Jungle, Black is Back, Jim Browski, I'll
Yeah.
House You. I
Mm.
love this fucking album. I need to get my hands on this album, but it's so fucking expensive. I know a
Yes.
lot of people want to say Done by the Forces of Nature is their best album, which I do love. That's a
I
classic
not
album
like
as
that.
well.
I know we
But
reviewed that. I did not like that.
it was too house influenced.
That shit was all over the place.
What the second album?
Yeah. That we did that one, right? Was it that one we did, or was it the JB's joint?
We did all of them. We did all them shits.
There was one of those albums where the
JB's.
production was just all over the place.
It was JB's with the
Yeah,
Remedy.
it must have been a JB's joint. Yeah, that one.
That
Was
was
it
trash.
the JB's with the remedy? Yeah, that one I didn't like.
That was trash.
That
Yeah,
one was terrible.
yeah, man. But I definitely feel you on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like this is an album, production wise, it pretty much 5 years. It pretty much predates 36 Chambers 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, but that's my 88.
Another album that we reviewed and I definitely enjoyed after hearing it is Easy E. Easy Does It.
Oh wow, okay.
Production by Dre and Yella. You know, Ghost written by Cube and Ren. You know, there's some joints, man, like Boys in the Hood remix was fire and We Want Easy, Rufus Villain
Easy.
featuring Ren. This is definitely an underrated debut classic for me, man. Like I think it's Easy's best album. I don't know how people feel about that, but this album is banging. And it's like you still getting the NWA flavor, just behind the scenes, and it's more like Easy is shining, by himself on this, and I love it.
I feel you. See, with that album, I remember when I first heard it,
Uh-huh.
I did not like it because I expected it to be as dark as Straight Outta Compton, but this was like the more comedic, like marketing wise, it's a very genius move. It's like the more comedic side. But then over the years, I came to appreciate it
Mhm.
and stuff like that too. Now, this is really like I kind of prefer Straight Out the Motherfucking Streets of Compton, but that's a posthumous album, so
Uh-huh.
this is pretty much the only quote unquote studio album he came out with
Right,
and stuff.
right.
Because the it's on Dr. Dre EP. That's my favorite work from Easy.
So
My
straight off the streets is what? Is that an EP too?
That's a posthumous album because
Oh,
he was supposed to came out with an album called Temporary Insanity,
right.
but he had to push that album back a couple of times, and they took like the tracks that was supposed to have been on there,
Yeah,
and they threw it on there, plus some other unreleased tracks and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So, I mean, Tamika, I just wish she would actually just drop the Temporary Insanity album, but
Yeah.
that's another story for a different day. Honestly,
Hmm.
it's like why would you do that? But
I don't know.
why?
What's for 89?
Oh yeah, we on 89. Okay, so man, this is an album. I don't know if I really want to call it underrated,
Hmm.
but I do feel like this is just like Straight Out the Jungle. It
Hmm.
is an essential figure in hip hop. See, I love when we do these reviews. I can use words like essential. And the album I want to talk about today
Hmm.
is Cool G Rap DJ Polo. Rest in peace, DJ Polo. Road to the Riches. Now, let me educate y'all motherfuckers right quick. Before Reasonable Doubt, before Do or Die, before it was written, it was this album that laid the blueprint for mafioso rap and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Wanted Dead or Alive mastered it, but this album right here was like the stepping stones. Like, and I re-listened to this album recently. I'm just like, I actually like this album a bit more now than when I did the review. Because when I reviewed this album, I loved it, but I did say in terms of his shit with Polo, and whatnot too. It was probably like my least favorite
Right.
it's that because of the fact that I kind of prefer dark Coogee rap and everything like that. So put a
Mm.
pencil in, you know, because I feel like he was still trying to like battle between the commercial radio friendly. Because this might be the only Coogee rap song where he actually has a love song. Let that sink in. She loves me not. But then you have probably the most disgusting song, which gives you the early glimpse of the Coogee rap we know with songs like "Truly Yours," which that song, if he would have dropped that song today, he would
Mm-hmm.
have got a lot of scrutiny with that song right there.
Right.
But yeah, Poison, I love that track, which that was also sampled by Belle Biv DeVoe. You know what I'm saying? I love It's a Demo. I wish they would have put the song I'm Fly. I know it came out way back, like maybe I think like 87, 86, one of
Mm-hmm.
them years. But that song right there, I'm Fly. Woo!
Yeah.
Classic.
Definitely.
Kisses, I'm Fly. Woo! Let's go, baby. Let's
Oh yeah.
go.
I got Queen Latifah, All Hail the Queen. Great album. Um, coming out from the native tongues and starting Flavor Unit and when you had joints like Coming to My House, which was like a club joint. Ladies First with Moni Love, classic. Joint and Dance for Me After My Madness. I think it's her underrated album to me. Like well, I don't want to say her most underrated. I feel like Nature of a Sister is underrated too, but
Fact.
her first album doesn't get a lot of mention. And
I
yeah,
agree.
DJ Mark the 45 King, rest in peace. He did production on this, and Daddy O, Prince Paul, Keras One, Louis Vega, just a great debut.
To me, that's the greatest female rap album in history. I don't give a fuck.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, we did. Remember we did
I
that
don't
list?
know.
That was my
I
number one.
well, I'm gonna say I don't know if this is a hot take. I think Foxy and Kim had better debut albums, but
Okay.
because for me, I don't think Kim and Foxy ever, especially Kim. I don't think Kim ever made anything great since hardcore. At least with
Oh
Foxy, she had Broken Silence, which was great. But
well, I'm not gonna hold you. La Bella Mafia was good.
mhm,
It wasn't great.
right,
I actually enjoyed that more than I expected. To be real with you, La Bella
yeah,
Mafia. But at the same
it
time,
was good. A good bounce back album from that terrible Notorious K.I.M. But you know, the best thing
oh,
about that album was the album cover. But other than that, I didn't like nothing on that album. Second album,
Magic Stick was my shit though.
yeah.
All right, so we got 1990. Okay,
Yeah.
now this is a rapper we have not talked about on this channel. I'm kind of surprised I've not talked about this album on this channel or this artist because, as militant as I am and whatnot, this motherfucker, he pretty much, man, how can I explain? If you know what, I'm just gonna show it. It's Paris. The devil made me do it.
Mm-hmm. Good one.
Yes, yes, and I have the first two albums and shit
Mm.
like that too.
I got
Hold on.
some compilation he did with like Mob Deep and Public Enemy and shit.
Yeah, I heard about those ones.
Yeah, I think it's Rebel Soldiers or something. Some compilation he
Let's
did.
let's talk about this album Election Day, the week of
Okay,
election. Because the week of election day, I'm gonna do Boondocks and this album. Okay,
right.
let me write this down because I want to give Paris some love.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, Paris, man. I don't think I talked about Paris on this channel like that. Besides just showing a CD collection, but
Hmm.
he's definitely very militant on the conscious tip. This album right here, came out in 1990. It was known for something like Panther Power. I love that one. Ebony, yo, Ebony.
Hmm.
The way how he flipped that heat wave sample. Ooh, that was probably one of the most sexiest hip hop beats I've ever heard. And it was like, wow. It was like that beat is sexy as hell. I ain't gonna hold you. You guys have to listen to that song on some speakers and some shit. The Devil Made Me Do It. I
Hmm.
mean, powerful ass album right here and stuff like that too.
Hmm.
I feel like since MTV banned him, of course,
Well,
and a lot of people they banned the record cover,
mhm.
the album because of the fact that they had they think the original cover had the cops putting a black man in a chokehold or some shit like that too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This album kind of gets forgotten about because people want to say "Sleeping with the Enemy," and I do also like that album too.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Which has the classic song "Bush Killer." Yo, we had Cop Killer and Bush Killer the same year, man. Yo, Time Warner was on
And
fire, man.
nobody even mentions the Bush Killer song.
Yo, Bush Killer was wild, B. Like,
Yeah.
yo,
Yep.
yeah. The Devil Made Me Do This. This is the hip hop classic.
I still
Unless
want to
we
see. Does he have the other album cover with the cop choking out the dude?
honestly, I've never seen that cover, but I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up and I'll see if I can find it. Because if I find it, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send that shit to you.
Yeah, I never seen that one.
Because I want to talk about his first two albums. Do a double review.
Yes.
I like Gorilla Funk from '94, but the
Mm,
production. This might sound crazy. The production was too G Funk for him.
okay.
Like it was a bit too G Funk for me.
Right.
But I still love it though, because it had some joints though. But I'm just like you can tell he was going for that death row kind of sound. Damn, that death row syndrome be.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm telling you.
We had a death row syndrome, the bad boy syndrome.
Yeah, there was something.
There
You
was
know,
something in the air. Something's
yeah.
going on.
They were making the most money, and everybody was following suit.
Right, right.
You know?
Then all of a sudden we had the no limit syndrome in the 2000s.
Right. Yeah, that.
Oh, that's
I got a tribe with people's instinctive travels and the paths of rhythm.
that almost made my list too.
And you know what's crazy when I heard I left my wallet in El Segundo, I didn't like them. I didn't
What?
like that song. I didn't gravitate to that song when I heard that. It wasn't
Yeah,
until Bonita Applebum came out that I was like, oh, this is the same group that did that Wallet song that we used to call it, and that's when I became a fan of them. When Can I Kick It came out and
yes.
Bonita, but I didn't like when El Segundo joint came out. I was like, who this? And then back then they were wearing dashikis and hats and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, I ain't care for that. I still don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like I would still skip it over
Oh,
on that album.
come on, man.
You know, beat was fire, but it's not to me. I wouldn't have released it as a first single. I think Bonita should have been the first single, and then Can I Kick It, and then
I
maybe as a third single we release El Segundo.
okay, I agree with you on that.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like I didn't, and that's happened sometimes too. Like in hip hop, like there's some artists I hear their first song and I don't gravitate to it, and then like with Eminem when he released Still Don't Give a Fuck, I didn't like that song. Did not
Who?
like it. When he released My
Crazy.
Name Is, that's when I
What?
became a fan of him. Yeah, I didn't care for that. I like the remix for
Wow.
I like the remix for I Still Don't Give a Fuck. I didn't like the because the video MTV used to play that. And I was like, who the fuck is this white boy that you know what I'm saying? And I didn't know when I saw My Name Is, it was the same guy. I'm like, well, he looked totally different because like Eminem, like he was fatter in
Yeah.
you look at that video, he was fatter in I Still Don't Give a Fuck. And then when you see him in My Name Is, he had the blonde hair, he was slimmer. I'm like, oh, this is
Yep.
the same guy. Okay. So I became a fan of him then. I didn't like this shit before. You know, so that's happened in the past where you might, you know, an artist might release a first single or even an album and you don't really gravitate to them to like the second or third album, you know. But
Right.
this is a great album, man. Like the album cover alone is just dope, you know what I'm saying? But the production from, you know, Tribe and you know, Q-Tip and you know, Fife, rest in peace. Definitely a banging album. Lucien, Lucky Lucien was my favorite joint on here. Love
Really?
that joint. They need a video for that joint. You know, Footprints. You know, like the
Yeah.
whole album. Like I think you know what it is. I think because we know Midnight Marauders and Low End Theory have become like their staple albums that people kind of overlook this album, and then when they go back to it, they be like, "Oh, this was a dope album." You know what I'm
That's what
saying?
they do.
Huh?
That's what they do.
Yeah, you know, and you remember Bonita Applebum, you remember Can I Kick It? And then when you hear the whole album, it's like, oh, there's other joints besides the singles that they released, and I think it was an all around slept on debut from them, and it's great. It needs more recognition.
I agree. You know what's my favorite single next to
Um,
Benita Applebaum?
mm,
The rhythm devoted to shaking butts. I think that
right.
was a single. No, that was not a single. I'm tripping.
It should have been
I've
a
always
single.
thought it should have been, but
Yeah.
I remember that song right there, man. I was
Mhm.
surprised they played that in like the first episode of Bel Air,
Right.
the reboot. I was like, yo, when I heard that song, I was like, you know what? I
Hmm.
love this show now because
Yeah.
niggas don't even know that song.
Right.
And niggas don't even know that song. But Footprints. I love the sample.
Hmm.
That sample that main stores use for looking through the front door and shit like that.
Right.
That Think Twice, that Donna Bird sample and shit like
Yeah.
that. Who do you think used that sample the best?
I like the main source joint. Looking out the front
Yeah,
door, looking through the front door. Yeah, that joint was. I was just playing that on my Spotify like a couple of weeks ago. It's still sounds great, man. That whole album, Breaking Atoms, that's another underrated album.
I agree.
Definitely a classic, man. You know.
Yeah.
Sam says the first five. I don't. The source got it wrong because I don't think Love Movement was great at all. They definitely got that wrong.
No, he said the first Tribe album, People's got 5 mics.
Oh, the first. Oh, I thought he said the first five Tribe albums. I'm like, what? Love Movement too? They got 5 mics in
Wow.
the source. I didn't even know that. I don't think I was buying the source at that point. I didn't start buying the
Well,
source like '92.
yeah, it's well deserved for me.
Yeah.
All right. 1991. Oh, a lot of dope ones came out in 1991, but I had to go with my man Dell with I Wish My Brother George Was Here.
Ooh, man.
Yes. Now, you guys know this is Ice Cube's cousin, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, this
Yes.
was Cube's cousin, right? Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. I thought it was Cam that was Cube's cousin.
I heard that too.
No, he has a lot of cousins. Okay. But yeah, I've always loved this album. I feel like this album never gets its just due.
Mm.
Mr. Dabelina.
That
Love
believe.
that record.
Mhm.
Yeah. He threw shots at motherfucking De La Soul and Vanilla Ice on I think what was the song? I think Pissing on Your Steps. He threw
Now,
shots at
how
them.
did that beef? How did that beef happen?
I don't think, well, everyone was dissing Vanilla Ice.
No,
I already
I
know
mean
that.
the Dell I saw. Well, everybody's with different vanilla. I'm talking about the Dell thing. How did that happen?
I don't know. See, niggas were just I don't know. I guess I have to go back. I have to get back. I've tried to look up that shit about that beef for years. I just realized
Mm.
from a YouTuber that he threw shots in it because I have to re-listen to it. I'm like, oh shit, he did throw shots at. Cause I know he also dissed LL Cool J on the song Whack MCs from
Wow.
on the second album. I'm just like, yo,
How does Dell and LL have a beef? Like that's two different styles.
I think he was just poking the bear. I don't know.
Right.
Because I heard that from Eminem. Because he had his favorite diss tracks and he mentioned that shit.
Mm.
But yeah, this album it's like a light version of Death Certificate production wise, if that makes sense. I love songs like Money for Sex, ooh, Dr. Bombay, Sleeping on My Couch. Man, this is that classic West. This to me, this might be one of my favorite West Coast alternative hip hop albums ever, in my personal opinion. I love this album that much and shit, you know. I think I do got this album too.
John said it's crazy. Dell said he liked this album or he don't like the album.
I think he said he did not like that album. I
He
think
didn't like the album.
because
That's
he
usually
felt like
what happens. Like you know.
man, but come on, man.
Oh, he didn't like the album. Is
That's
it one of his
crazy.
best albums though? As a solo artist?
Well, in my personal opinion, I can't speak for everybody else. I feel like it is one of his best solo albums, but I
Mm.
also feel like it gets overshadowed by Deltron 3030. Because I
Right.
feel like when it comes to that album I compare it to Mad Villain. Like the white kids, they love the Deltron 3030.
Right.
But the hip hop crowd, we love pretty much like the no Time for Alarm.
Mm-hmm.
No Need for Alarm.
Yeah.
Future Development. No one talks about that album.
Mm-hmm. I don't
And
think I heard that one yet.
that is
I
fire.
heard that one.
I love Deltron 3030. That's a hip hop classic, but
That was great.
sometimes I do admit it gets a bit over. It's like, okay, niggas, all right, niggas. They weren't the first to do that. To do that
Right.
operatic kind of shit.
Right.
Relax.
How do you feel about Both Sides of the Brain? That one.
See, I have not heard that album.
I didn't hear that one either. I remember when it came out though. I Future Development and Both Sides I haven't heard though.
Yes, sir.
I got an underrated album that when I started my channel back in 2018, that was the first review I did, and I said I wanted to cover like only underrated gems. I didn't want to talk about Illmatic again or Ready to Die or Doggy Style. It's been done already. I wanted to give shed light on a lot of underrated albums, and this was the very first review I did. A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, Black Sheep,
I remember.
and man, this album was phenomenal. It was unexpected because it was a blind buy for me. Like at that time when I bought it, only Flavor of the Month was out. It wasn't Choice of Yours, and it didn't even drop yet. And I kept seeing the video for Flavor of the Month on Pump It Up with D Barnes when she had that show, and I just liked it. I just liked the beat, and you had Herb Albert on there, the great Herb Albert. And when I bought it and I heard joints like But in the Meantime and Simmon Like Child, I wasn't even a single yet, and Strobe Like Honey, I was like, yo, this album is fire. There wasn't really
Yes, sir.
nobody talking about it except for when Choices Just came out, everybody talked about that song. Everybody knew what it was, but they didn't really talk about the album like that. You know what I'm saying? You ask somebody, what's your favorite song off of Wolf in Sheep's Clothing? They're gonna say The Choice Is Yours because they don't know nothing else off of that. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like that album is severely slept on, even now. The La Minaj track with featuring Q-Tip where they talking about having a threesome with a chick was just just crazy. I love that song and Have You No Envy. There's so many joints on there. Try Counting Sheep. I think it's an underrated 5 Mile classic. The production. The only issue that I had with the album when you hear Nonfiction, I know that's your favorite. Nonfiction, I didn't like Nonfiction, but I like the fact that Mr. Long was on more tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like he was actually spitting balls on more tracks because he wasn't on the whole album of the first one. It was mainly Drez, and he had like his witty, clever lines and Mr. Long would, have his moments, but on Nonfiction, he was on the mic more often. So it
Right.
felt more like a duo than just Drez featuring his DJ Mr. Long. And Mr. Long was like producing and all that. But I love
Right.
their first album. I think is severely slept on, and I blame mostly the label. They were on like Polydor Mercury, and they didn't know how to
Yeah,
promote. They were just a janky ass label that was playing games with them. But this was a great album, so I had to put this on the list.
definitely. Yeah, man. Nonfiction is my album, but I do like that album though. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I do like that album and shit like that because it definitely screams 1991 and stuff
Yes.
like it represented that classic golden age of hip hop
Hmm.
and everything like that too. So yeah. So I have a tie for 1992. My first album. This is from a hip hop duo. So if you guys remember the episode of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the episode when Will Carlton and Jazz were on that road trip and they played a rap song. Hey baby, I'm not gonna be able to go.
Oh wow.
This is my first album, Double X
Double up.
Posse. Yeah, put your boots on. I know what you guys are thinking. Who the fuck are these guys right here? Let me tell you something. Now, honestly, I like this second album, Rough, Rugged, and Raw, better
Uh-huh.
and shit like that too. But this album definitely has that very feel good kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Not
Right.
gonna be able to do it. It's my joint
Oh
right
yeah.
there. You know what I'm saying? I always, every time that episode of Fresh Prince always comes on, I've always looked forward to that scene just to hear that fucking song and
Right.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But this is my first album. And then my second album, you gotta take it to the south with this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's UGK, Too
Mm-hmm.
Hard to Swallow.
So
Yes. This album came out motherfucking in 1992. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? To me, this is really the first trap album. I'm gonna be real with y'all on that. I mean, Pocket Full of Stones. Come on, man.
Trap done
Very
well.
trap done well.
Yes,
Yes.
don't forget that
This
part.
this was what the South was. This was what to the South what Coogee Rap and DJ Poe's Road to the Riches was for the East
Mm-hmm.
and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that whole trap shit. I like Ti, but when niggas say, "Oh, Ti created trap music," I'm just like, okay, slow your roll, slow
No, he
your roll,
literally
man.
has an album called Trap Music. You know that, right?
Yeah. I mean, okay, well, I'm gonna have an album called West Coast Hip Hop. That don't mean I created West Coast Hip Hop and shit.
Well,
Like,
I don't look at. I don't really care who's the king of the trap music. I don't care. I just know if Ti's his first six albums to me was his best shit. After that, he fell off. But I don't really care who's Jeezy claims shit and Ti. I don't care who's the king of trap.
to me, Too Hard to Swallow.
Mm,
Then it was Mystic Styles after that, because y'all forget Mystic Styles.
right.
Mystic Styles birthed a lot of classic Southern styles and shit. No pun intended.
Horrorcore though.
Yes, but then they had crunk elements,
Hmm.
trap elements too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whew, man. I'm just getting chills right now, boy. I'm just getting chills. This is what I like to talk about, right? Y'all want to talk about Kendrick and Drake all day and shit. And Diddy. I want to talk about Diddy all day. I want to talk about that raw shit. I want
Right.
to talk about that gutter shit. Yeah, yeah.
92. I got Grand Puba, Real to Real. I still will say I think this is the best brand new being solo album in the group. I love Wild Cowboys. I don't think it was better than this though. I think for Puba to not use no big name producers, he produced everything, he wrote everything, arranged everything. He had Stud Dougie and Alamo with him, and I think it's again another slept on album. I remember getting this album like after Christmas, um, of '92. Because when you get Christmas money, you go shopping after Christmas. This was the
Oh
album
yeah.
that I bought after Christmas, and I've been playing that since 1992. You know what I'm saying? I think it's still his best album. You know, the joints he had on there, like it was so versatile. Like having a joint like proper education. Soul controller. Check the resume and what goes around is like every joint was knocking. He had the lone feature he had on there was with Kid Capri and Mary J. Blige. That's it. Nobody else. He had Kid Capri on Back It Up, and he had Mary J. on Check the Resume. And I think it was a banging album. You know what I'm saying? And just even the album cover where he's like, you got the Jabodes on, and then you got like the map of New Rochelle, and I loved it. Five Night Classic, highly slept on. I want to say we did a review on this too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we did.
It's on my channel because that's the type of shit I was on. I'm like, I'm only gonna cover underrated albums. If it's Grand Puba, Coolio first album, Black Sheep, that's the shit that I wanted to discuss. And so that's what I went with. And I was like, nobody else is covering those albums. I'm like, why not me? So I loved it, man. It's still my favorite Grand Puba album. You know, I know people love Wild Cowboys. I love too. I mean, it's neck and neck. Like best brand Nubian member with the first solo album. I think it's neck and neck. But I think Real to Real definitely deserves more attention.
Yeah, I like Wild Cowboys, but this shit's all over Wild Cowboys in my opinion.
And Wild Cowboy for me was like Sadat's best album to me. And he's had some other
What?
good ones, but I think Wild Cowboys is his best like solo album.
All right. Now we did a review on this one. I think Christian was the one who recommended us to do this one. Is The King and I with contemporary Jeep music.
Ooh, very good one.
Yes. Right here, boy. This album, right? I still need to get a hands on this album though. This album's
Yeah,
stupid expensive for no reason.
cocaine prices for this.
Cocaine prices. All right. So this album does not have a Wikipedia, so I'm sharing it from Discogs. But thank God because I found a track listing. Yo, that back cover is lit. I like that back
Mhm.
cover.
Yeah.
Like songs like "Flip the Script,"
Hmm.
"Crack the Weasel," "Tears." I mean, this
Cheers.
might be one of the top five boom bap albums ever made.
Mm,
And it's a shame that this album does not get its just due
I agree.
like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've never heard boom bap like that. I think the
Right.
closest is probably Diamond D's Stunt to Bust in Hip Hop, which I feel like that's honestly the best boom bap album in the history of hip hop.
Mm, hot take.
Yes. 'Cause- yeah, because the way he made that boom, the way he made it,
Hmm.
it was something about the way Diamond did them beats and shit like that, which was very precursor to a lot of hip hop styles and
Right.
whatnot too. Even Kanye West even said in an interview that Diamond D was one of
Hmm.
his influences and shit.
I wish Kanye would work with Diamond D and stop doing this shit with Ty Dolla Sign.
I wish
You
Kanye
know,
would just find his mind, would just get his mind right on.
you know.
That's what I say. Like fuck the music, just get your mind right, nigga. Like, because every time I feel like he's doing good, he just does some stupid shit.
Right.
Like,
All right. I got Lords of the Underground with Here Come the Lords.
ooh,
Love this album. Molly Mall and K Def on the production. You know, and man, like do it all and Funky Child, like they Funky Man, they were just dope. You know what I'm saying? Then you had like Lord Jazz, every now and then he would come in with a verse, like on Lord Jazz Hit Me One Time. Love that track, Sleep for Dinner. You had Psycho, you had Funky Child, just a phenomenal first album, and they brought like boom bap from Jersey, to the forefront, and they were just great, man. Like I played that cassette to death, man. I still need it on vinyl or CD, but when I had the cassette, I was playing that shit every day, and I still think that's their best album. And this is at a time when like you had Molly Mall and KDF was like a tag team. They were just like doing like the Lord of the Underground stuff and the youngsters stuff and world renowned and Sabi and they were just creating like a whole like boom bap sound for a lot of like up and coming artists at that time. Real Live as well and this was a Friday Night classic.
definitely. All right, next song, next album. I don't know if I will call this album underrated, but
Mhm.
here it is. It's OC with Word of Life. That's my
Right.
1994. You know what I'm saying? Pretty dope shit right here.
Mhm.
One thing I liked about this album, I've heard a lot of people kind of compare this to Illmatic.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah, because Nas was supposed to be on there,
he was.
and he missed this the studio session or something like that.
Yeah, he missed the studio session. Yeah,
Wow.
and I can see it, but at the same time, I feel like this is like a more darker album than Illmatic and shit like that too. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I feel like it was it was like a more urban. It had like a
Hmm.
more urban kind of feel to it.
Hmm.
I need to get my hands on this album. I almost got the vinyl years ago, but somebody bought it already.
Okay.
But everybody always knows, talks about Time's Up because Eminem and 8 Mile and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
I love Time's Up. That's a classic joint. But
Hmm.
there's so many other great shit other than this album. Creative Control, Go Ahead, Let It Slide,
Yeah.
My Dude. Hell, the outro alone,
Hmm.
rhyming over Fazo, riding high. Come on,
Right.
man.
Right.
Born to Live, that and the remix with Organized Confusion was dope too.
Hmm.
I mean, I want to get this album and the Bon Appetit album. I need to get my hands on that
Yeah.
one.
94. I got the Artifacts Between a Rock and a Hard Place. Like I skipped school to get this album. You know what I'm saying? Like I skipped class. I skipped class. Well, actually, I got it early. There was sometimes back in high school, it would be days when they would let us out like 12 in the afternoon. So I went straight to the record store and I bought this, and it's a great album. You know what I'm saying? And I like the fact that Artifacts, rest in peace to Tame One, that they incorporated, the graffiti bombing in hip hop. That's a part of hip hop anyway. And just incorporating that in their shows and in their videos. And they were just it was just a gritty boom bap album. With production from T Ray and Buck Wild, and even Redman is Tame One's cousin, and he had a production on that album. And joints like Lower the Boom, where they talk about getting high. It's like a weed song. You got Way Back, where they reminiscing from about the old school. And Wrong Side of the Tracks was the first single. Classic joint. you know um Flexing with the Tech, that was like one of my favorites. And even like the remixes, like they had the remixes for Dynamite Soul with Mad Skills,
Mhm.
and Come On with the Get Down with Busta Rhymes. We had the Who I Am joint, Five My Classic. I also did a review for this on my channel, and that was great. It was just I still love it. It's still one of my favorite like hip hop albums of all time.
I don't blame you on that, man. 1995. We are going to get into another album. I kind of don't think it's underrated, but
Mhm.
it does deserve a bit more respect. And the
Right.
second album is not that good. So is Mike Geronimo with the Natural?
Oh yes, definitely his best album still.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? This definitely is a very great album and everything like that too. Very, very street and everything like that too.
Yeah.
Some classic Irv Gotti production on this one. I like Irv Gotti's beats from like the mid to late '90s.
Hmm.
Honestly, before he found Murder Inc. Records, I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Right.
That was when his beats was more darker and
Yeah.
grimy. The shit he was doing for like Jay, the
Hmm.
Cash Money Click. I mean, come on.
Right.
Um, Not this whole ecstasy laced beats he was doing and shit. Yeah, songs like "Shit's Real." I love that track.
Definitely.
Um, "Wherever You Are." I kind of prefer the video mix. To
Yes,
be
I
real with
like that
you,
one. Yes.
that one was
Yeah,
hot.
he actually they filmed that video over here, like around my way at the library.
Yeah,
Yes, that was like the night scene was in front of the Brooklyn Public Library. That's like right around my way.
got you. That's what's up, man. That's
Yeah.
what's up. Um, Probably my favorite track, "Time to Build" with DMX, Ja Rule, and Jay Z.
Yes.
Probably one of my favorite Ja Rule verses. He killed. I'm sorry, he killed both X and J on that track. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Yeah.
That might be the only time I will say that on this channel. Um, yeah, this one right here is definitely a dope album. Vendetta is of Vendetta has some joints, but at the same
They're not like
time,
that.
it was just you guys know it was too mainstream.
Too mainstream, and the fact that you actually had the diddler tell Mike like, "Yo, this song, Nothing Move But the Money is for LL Cool J," and Mike went against his wishes and said, It's gonna be my single," and we saw the outcome of the album. We didn't do it. Now,
That's
if you
might be
give
the
that
only,
to LL, that LL would have made that a hit,
that might be the only time Puffy tried to help somebody.
right? Facts. The same for
That
you,
might be
and
the only.
even he knew, Mike, you're not gonna sound good on this, and Mike said, I'm using it. So,
But wait, but Puffy, you let LL do that whack ass phenomenon album and shit like that, though.
oh
You
Lord,
executive,
right?
exec-
Terrible. Well, it probably would have went on that shitty album, so it wouldn't have made a difference.
right?
But I could hear LL on that instead of Mike Geronimo. You know, 95. I got another album that I discussed on my channel. Shout out to Lady Silk. We did that review together. Goody Mob Soul Food, classic
Nice.
album that nobody mentions. And when Cell Therapy came out, that was huge up here. Like when we talk about verses, Cujo's verse was crazy. I had my little cousin. I had a little cousin at the time when she was think she was like 5 or 6 when this came out. And every time she used to hear that, every time she heard the song with the chorus, who's peeking through my window, she would always say it like she knew the chorus, like it had a catchy chorus, and that was like one of her favorite songs. And man, that whole album produced by Organized Noise was just phenomenal. Joints like Dirty South with Cool Breeze and Big Boy from Outkast destroyed that track. That's a
I
classic. Love that record. You had this Sesame Street joint. I think Big Gibb sounded great on that one. Live at the Omni. Um, the title track where they're talking about like eating healthy for black people. I love that track. I love the message in that song. Even the Red Dogs skit was dope. Just all around classic album. I love Goody Mob. I think they all talented. CeeLo went off and did his whole solo thing, and then linking up with Danger Mouse for Gnarls Barkley, and he's a great artist. And I think all of them together were like a great group that was slept on, and they deserve more recognition as well.
yeah, I definitely agree with you about that.
Yeah,
That might be my favorite Goody Mob album too,
yeah.
next to Still Standing.
Still Standing was dope too.
Yeah. All right. 1996. Boy, boy. I gotta go with that Real Live for that turnaround beat, that turnaround joint.
Nice.
Um, K-Def's group right here.
Hmm.
Yeah, this was a very dope album. Like this was on some futuristic kind of shit right here, boy. Like
Yeah,
the production definitely did not sound like some 1996 shit.
right.
You know, I love songs like The Turnaround, Iceberg Slick, Ain't No Love, They Got Me. This was a very, very dope album.
Definitely. 96, I gotta go with Bahamadia Collage. Definitely a 5 mic classic. Very slept on female MC. That she hasn't put out an album even close to this. You know, but when you have an album that's like produced by Primo and the Beat Miners and the Roots and N.O. Joe and Ski, even Guru produced some stuff. It's not gonna be whack. You know what I'm saying? And you know, she's a true lyricist and coming out with joints like Total Wreck and True Honey Buns and you know how we do it and I Confess. I think it was a great album, man. Like it's so many different flavors on this album, that she had and she doesn't get mentioned at all when we talk about female MCs. It's people mention, Eve and they mention MC Light. I don't hear Bahamadia in those conversations. Rod Digger, I even hear Rod Digger hasn't even dropped a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? And I hear Rod Digger more than Bahamadia. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's because she only has I know she dropped something on BDE like way back, but I haven't heard nothing from her since that. You know what I'm saying? And shit, I would rather see Primo do an album with why we can't get a Primo and Bahamadia album.
That's a good question.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can we get that? Like Nas and Primo, I told you already, when that album come out, and if it don't live up to people's expectations, they're gonna say it was whack. I said this years ago. Why we can't get a Primo and Bahamadia album? Because she still got it. She can still. I know she's still doing shows and all that. Like, I really want to hear that over Nas and Primo. Nas and Primo to me, I think they time passed. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's gonna live up to the hype.
Not that
But
time, Pat.
yeah, I think the time passed. I think they're like 25 years too late, maybe 30 years too late. Because whatever they plan on coming out with, it's going to get scrutinized because of who they are, and because people have been wanting this album for so long. You know what I'm saying? Especially, and if it's not as good as the Common and P Rock album, they're gonna say it's trash. They're going to say it was bad, and this is not what they wanted. But if we have Bahamadia, who nobody mentions. Like, give me a Bahamadia and Primo album. I think that would be great. You know what I'm saying? And you know, she was just dope, man. Just for this one album, severely slept on.
Definitely. 1997. I gotta go with Latyrix, the album.
Dope.
Boom, 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 boom. Dun, 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 boom. Oh, this review is coming, y'all. This review is. I know I've been mentioning this group for the longest. I'm not even gonna talk too much because I got a review coming up with this.
Right.
But this album, I don't understand why it does not get recognized like that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, 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 boom.
All right, this album I just recently got this album on vinyl last year. Thank God I was surprised to even see it in the record store, especially for a cheap price. It was like $30. CRU the Dirty 30. Um, just a great album produced by Yogi from the group, and Yogi went on to become part of the Hitmen later on.
Yogi
And
Bear.
you even got some bad boy artists on here. You got Black Rob and the Locks. You know, you got
What?
Razzcast on the Bonic Plague, and you know, Slick Rick on Just Another Case. You know, Tonto was my joint. That's Pronto was my joint. That was the one they were playing on the radio a lot. And Bubbling, that was like the underground joint. You know, Chatty O. I saw Chatty O recently. He's still doing music. Um,
His
but
name is actually Yo.
well, that's his stage name. I don't know if that's his real name, but Chatty O. That's the
Uh,
name he went by. But yeah, he's still doing music. You know, and I think it was you know, it's a lot of track. This could have been a double album. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's 30 tracks on here. This could have been like a triple album if we wanted to. Let's just put 10 a piece on each CD. But um, it was dope. Definitely love the album, the production, the songs. You know, and again, we didn't get nothing from them. You know, after that, I know they were on the Violator um compilation part one. They won that joint. But other than that, I didn't hear nothing from them since the Violator compilation. You know, but salute to them.
and that's called Crew.
Yeah, the Dirty 30.
I never heard that album. I always see it on best of albums list. I never heard it.
Yeah, album is fire. It just I don't Def Jam, they semi promoted it. They didn't promote it the way they promoted Jay or they promoted Foxy or Redman, but they should have promoted it more.
Send me the name of the album. I might want to talk about that at some point.
All right.
Yeah, because I've never heard that record. I always want to see what the big hype was and shit.
Yeah. They were dope. You know, college radio played a lot of these stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like when Bubbling came out and Pronto, and then like Hot 97 was playing Pronto in their regular rotation at that time. You know, Just Another Case, they had that with Slick Rick. You know, they had a video for that, and so they like the underground heads knew who they was. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying like Def Jam, I feel like they didn't really put promotional money behind them like they did with Foxy and with Redman and Jay at that time.
Yeah, man. They weren't commercial enough. I get it.
Right.
Don't worry. I get it, bro. I get it. All right. So this might be a hot take. As far as underrated debuts go, I'm kind of surprised I put this album here, but I got to go with RZA, Bobby Digital.
I do think that's underrated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember if y'all asked me 10 years ago, I would have said I do not like this album because it was
Really?
just, yeah, just like Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, I have a weird feeling about this album, back and forth. But I remember I did the review,
Mm-hmm.
shit like that, and that's when I was like really like growing to appreciate the album because it might be some of the last great shit RZA has done. Some
Mm-hmm.
of the last shit. it was a very different album, like the Bobby Digital and stuff like that too. The whole Bobby Digital style was very different for him
Right.
and everything like that too. I love songs like Love Jones. That's my favorite track next to
Okay.
NYC Everything.
Yeah.
Um, what's that one track with the abusive kind of domestic violence? Ooh,
Yes. That was good.
yes. Mantis, Slow Grind French was pretty cool too. So yeah, this is a very. I feel like people should just give it a chance. You're not gonna get karate swords RZA. You're gonna get futuristic RZA.
And he was planning on coming out with a. He did a movie for the album, but the movie never got
Yes,
released. He was planning on doing coming out with the movie, but
I remember that.
I still don't know. I never seen the movie. I don't know why he never released it. I think he should have. Maybe when the album hits like 30 years, we finally get the movie to go with the album, but I don't know. Um, for 98, this is an album review that we did a couple months ago. Daz, Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back. Classic West Coast hip hop on here. Daz is severely underrated as a producer, and this album is banging. You know what I'm saying? We had joints like Initiated with Tupac, Corrupt, and the Outlaws. Initiated was one of the um one of the joints on the bootleg Machiavelli tapes. I remember hearing that. In California, that was a single with Val Young singing on that. We had OG with Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg. A lot of West. This is a West Coast album. A lot of like the collabs with West Coast artists. Too Short is on this. Be Legit. Prince Idol Joe. Superfly also did production on here. Trey D. Badass. Rest in peace. Dub C. Like this is if you love West Coast hip hop, this banging gangster rap right here. Like I think it's a Fire My classic.
Definitely. And the last album for 1999. Um, this is a very interesting album I'm about to pull up right now. It's the Handsome Boy Modeling School. So how's your girl?
Nice.
Give me 1 second. Underground classic right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this album came out in 1999. You had Prince Paul and Dan the Automator doing a thing. Handsome Boy Modeling School. They were pretty much Dan and Prince Paul's group that they had and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? This was based off an episode of the show Get a Life, the Chris Elliott show. You know what I'm saying? Which I've heard about that show. I know it was like a very weird show, for the time and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I've never actually seen that show, but
Mm-hmm.
you think you heard of that show?
What's the name of the show?
Get a Life.
They had their own show.
No, no. This album was based on an
I don't
episode
know.
from the show Get a Life.
I don't know that. I don't know that show. Get a Life.
Uh, yeah, I'm not the biggest Chris Elliott fan like that, but
Yeah, I didn't watch them.
yeah. But this has some dope choices. Like once again, here to kick one for you with Grand Poobah and Sadat. I like Sunshine with Sean Lennon, Monkey Monk. For the all them niggas, calling the biz. This one was pretty good. Magnetizing with Dell was pretty ill too. So very underrated album right here.
And the last one, I'm gonna end off with another female MC, Eve. Let There Be Eve, First Lady, Rough Riders. Love this album. I think Eve was like is one of the best in the game. And you had production from Swiss Beats and Ice Pick and DJ Shock, PK Killer. That whole Rough Riders sound they gave her for this, and big singles, Got a Man and What You Want. She had Love Is Blind with Faith Evans, and one of my favorites on here, Philly Philly with Beanie Siegel. That should have been a single. I love that joint with them. The Scenario 2000 with DMX and Deluxe and Dragon was fire. The Dog Match with DMX, rest in peace. Love that collab. You know, even the let's talk about it. I have actually have there's a tunnel. I know there's a tunnel documentary, but it was also a DVD that the tunnel put out with like the best tunnel performances. And when Rough Riders was at the tunnel, like She actually, you
I
saw that
remember.
one, the performance with her and Dragon. They
Yeah.
killed it. That was like a great performance, and this is a great album. It's my favorite Eve album. You know, I think she's definitely a legend. She's done a lot of great things for women in hip hop, and definitely a classic.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. That first Eve album does not get its just due. It does
Facts.
not. And she actually wrote her shit, but
She wrote her
really,
shit.
really,
There
really.
was no Ghost Riders about Eve back then. None. You know. I sent you the album one. Check your text.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
All right. So that's pretty much the whole. This is part one. We're gonna probably do part two next week when we do the next 8 Ball MJG album and stuff like that too.
All right.
So yeah, this was pretty fun. This was definitely
Yes,
very
it did.
fun.
Definitely. It was hard to pick some of these too.
Facts.
You know. I should like some a lot of them I looked though. Kid and Play first album was underrated. I didn't pick that. There was a lot of albums from like the 95, 96 that could have been on the list. You know.
Yeah, man. Certain debuts, man. You just
Yeah.
people sometimes when it comes to sometimes when it comes to like some of these breakthrough albums and stuff like that, sometimes the discography gets a little ignored and stuff like that. But there was some
Yeah.
dope debuts other than the typical ones people love to mention.
Facts.
You
Facts.
know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Um, so I'm actually gonna end this off right here. So tomorrow at 6, I plan on doing Kid Capri the tape, the first album. And I also want to react. Rolling Stone dropped a new list,
Oh
believe it or
boy.
not.
What list is this now?
The 50 worst albums of all time.
Wow. For any genre or just for rap?
Any genre.
That's gonna be interesting. I haven't seen the list yet. I don't know what you always keep up with these lists. I don't keep up with what Rolling Stone do because they're not for the culture. So it's like I
Nigga,
don't
people
really, you
people
know.
send these to me, and I just laugh and react to it. I just glimpse it. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna react to it because some of these are just wow.
Yeah, I can imagine what they got on there.
Right.
It's crazy.
But yeah, man. That's gonna be Monday.
Yep.
And then I said Wednesday. Wednesday, I said this is a new rapper I just actually heard of and stuff like that. I heard him at it like a little lounge and shit.
Right.
Big X the plug, take care and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would rather talk about Drake's Take Care than I don't even know who this nigga is. He talking about.
He like I think he's from Houston, I think, but I heard some of his shit. His shit's kind of dope though.
I'm gonna ask Dame if he ever heard of him because I never heard of this nigga.
Okay, and I also want to do a top 5 Redman guest verses that same
Right.
day too.
That's gonna be. I'm here. I'm there for that one. I don't know this big plug nigga you talking about. I'm there for the Red Man shit. So,
And Thursday we're going to continue on with the Ghostbusters month with Ghostbusters 2, the movie and the soundtrack. I can't wait to talk. That's the most thing I can't wait to talk about this week.
yes.
Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack, Bobby Brown on our own.
Mm-hmm.
How to take it slow. Maybe my favorite Bobby Brown song, next to Humping Around. Come on.
Right.
Yes. Anything you want to say before we head out?
I'm dropping a horror review this week. It's been a long time since I did a horror review. It's been years, and it's time to get back in it. It's Halloween month, so
Yeah.
I got like 3 or 4 coming this month. I'm gonna drop one this week, and then um end of October, me and Mike and Reg, if you want to join us, we're doing Bram Stoker's Dracula, my favorite Dracula movie ever, all time classic. I've got the 4K, so we're gonna do a 4K review on the movie. But before then, I'm gonna drop like 2 other horror reviews coming up. One of them might be a trash horror review. I've never done a trash horror review, but I got the movie on Blu-ray from a friend of mine. Shout out to Flix Talk. Go subscribe to his channel. He does movie reviews and live streams, and he actually sent me the movie that I'm going to review. And yeah, it's not that great, but I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna do the review because he didn't like it the movie at all, and he gave it to me. And I can see why he gave it away. But that's gonna be interesting. So look out for that.
Okay, send me the name of the movie. I might slide through. I might.
Yeah, it should. I don't know if you, I don't. I know a lot of people ain't see it because it's like one of them indie underground horror films. Like the cast is bad. The story is strong, but the cast is bad, and it might be on Tubi. I would not be surprised. Tubi always have a lot of shit on the app.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna. I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm like, you know what? I've never done a trash horror review, so I'm gonna definitely do this one. And again, I got another. I know Mike hit me up to do Joyride. You ever saw Joyride?
Nah.
Yeah, we're gonna do Joyride. I actually got Joyride on DVD, so we're gonna do that on his channel coming up. So it's gonna be fun.
I also want to do that new the Mr. Hawker Clocker movie.
Yes, I know. I didn't. I saw the trailer for that. I didn't see the movie yet. Um, did you see the VHS film, or you're not into the VHS series?
There was a VHS series.
Yes, it's been like that for like years.
I never knew.
Yeah, their new one is actually decent. I actually like this one. It's, VHS Beyond. It's like an anthology horror series, and they do like different stories within one movie.
Oh wow.
Like think like Tales from the Crypt. It's like along those lines,
Okay, I see what you're saying.
but it's like filmed like in found footage, the found footage genre. It's like that, like people like holding the camera, so it's like you get in like the found footage format.
So like Blair Witch Project, right?
Right, like that, like the found footage genre. That was like one of the very first films in that genre.
Overrated movie.
Keith said, "What Blair Witch?"
Yeah.
I never liked that film. I agree. I think it was. I didn't. I remember seeing the original one. I'm like, what's the scary part in it? It's just a bunch of white kids lost in the woods and it's black and white at night.
Right.
I don't care about
Ooh. I like the Scooby Doo parody more.
that.
They used to Cartoon Network.
I think that might be one of the most maybe top on the overrated horror films ever. I never cared for that joint. And they did a reboot, and the reboot was the same shit.
Damn son.
What is your favorite black horror movie?
Ah,
I love Blackula. Like Blackula, like old school 70s Afro, and you had like the black woman in it. I love Blackula. Blackula to me is. I know they're supposed to be doing a remake for that. I just hope they do it good. You know,
oh God.
there's also a comic book line for Blackula now. But yeah, give me the old school Blackula. Gigolos
I would
left.
probably I'll probably say Get Out was my favorite.
I like Get Out. I didn't think it was scary though. It was more psychological. I think Us was scarier than Get Out. You know,
Facts.
but I
Get
mean, Get
Out.
Out was. I could see why it would be scary to people. Like if a black man is dating a white woman and he got to meet her parents, I could see why that would be scary. But I'm about when you say horror, I'm about like demons and vampires and shit, werewolves. Like if it's not that, I'm not scared by it. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's not an apparition, I don't. It doesn't move me. You know what I'm saying? So
An apparition.
ghosts, spirits. That's what I mean.
Oh, oh.
Paranormal. Like if it's not paranormal shit. You know, it's like I want to be scared when I see the film. When I watch Exorcist, every time I watch Exorcist, I still get that same feeling. Or Conjuring, or Poltergeist. Half of these films now, like the cast is bad, the story don't make no damn sense. You're not seeing the ghost or the entity or whatever that's going after them and like to like maybe the end of the film. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they don't make horror films the way that they used to.
I really get scared from these horror movies. Honestly, it's just
Right. But see, I mean, I saw like my first horror when I was like 5 or 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? Nightmare on Elm Street Part Two, Freddy's Revenge. I saw that when I was a little kid,
Oh
and I
wow.
probably should have. I probably shouldn't have seen it, but you know, my aunt and my mom was watching it. We all watching it together. You know what I'm saying? And
A hallmark moment.
yeah, it was like that a lot though. Like Poltergeist, I saw when I was little. I saw that. You know, that was great. You know, actually going to the movie theater to see Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that. So
That's what's up. Well, I might talk about that Mr. Crocker movie this week.
I'm gonna
This
watch
month.
it. I hope is it good?
Well, I fell asleep halfway through.
Oh God, so it's not good.
Well, I didn't say that yet. I was just tired. But because
But
I was supposed
please,
to
please tell me it's better than that
Joker.
horrible Netflix film that we discussed. Please tell me it's better than The Deliverance.
Oh, so far it is, yeah.
Yeah, because Miss Jiggler was watching that last night, and I told her that shit was bad. I'm like, see, I told you.
I like
I
it.
told you.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
That shit was the worst horror film ever. Like, and there's others, but that's going on that list. It's right up there.
Shit.
Man,
Like horror movies are so hit or miss. That's all I gotta
it
say.
is. I've seen a lot of horror films this year that were very missed, and I wouldn't
Same.
watch them again.
Same.
You know,
Alright. Well, you guys already know the deal with the 8 Ball MJG. This album's out of print. So if you want to find this album, you're gonna have to actually go online and look for it yourselves. Don't expect the free ride and shit. But let me stop.
what do you
That
think
sounds
about Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Leprechaun, the first one was the best. I don't like none of the sequels. Leprechaun in the Hood, well, the reboot which was trash with Hornswoggle. I don't like none of them. First one, stick with the first one with a young Jennifer Aniston was in that one.
I
That's the
hate
best
them.
one.
I
Um,
hate horror movie.
Texas Chainsaw, Texas Chainsaw, stick with the original. That was the best one. The reboot. I went to see the reboot with what's her name, Jessica Biel. That was pretty good, but the original is way better than that. It's more raw.
I feel you
Straight up
on
was
that.
funny. It was funny and it was unbearable to watch at the same time. I couldn't believe that Netflix actually put that on their platform like this shit. That because it's Lee Daniels. Yeah,
You funny. Y'all funny.
that was Meryl Streep did that for a check because there's no way in hell she get an Oscar nomination for that.
That wasn't Mel. That was not Mel Shoot. That was on Glenn Close.
Again, Glenn Close, my bad. Glenn Close, yeah, that wasn't Oscar worthy at all. She played the worst role ever,
I see black people say that this is the first time they actually saw Glenn Close. Some black people say that shit.
bro. Her playing a quit dot and she's sleeping with Omar Epps. Like, who came up with that? Like, what? That's not even believable in real life,
I wonder how Omar felt about that.
right? And he didn't get killed in the movie, right?
Nah, he didn't.
Wow, a nigga that didn't get killed in a horror film.
A Lee Daniels movie.
It's a new day in Hollywood.
So this is why we striked. We
We
overcame try.
we would have got axed in the first 5 minutes. If that came out in the '90s, he would have been dead already,
Look at us. We came a long way.
right?
Look at
And
us.
then you had homegirl with that was playing the disciple, like the apostle. Like, what am I watching here? What am I? What? The apostle of God and shit. I'm like, this shit is terrible,
Mm.
man. That was a fun review though. Coface was hilarious, man. Man,
Oh man. But yeah, I'm
at
gonna
least
hit
if
y'all.
you're gonna do some trash reviews next time, Reg, like just bring all of us on.
Okay.
Just make it fun.
All right. Well, I can do a trash review on Leprechaun in the Hood.
I'm not rewatching that. I'm not,
Okay, well, I don't even
I'm
I
not
don't even
rewatching
watch
that shit. That shit was bad the first time.
shit. All
No.
right, well, I'm gonna end this off right here so I can get some rest for work. Appreciate this try as usual.
All right.
I'll see y'all. I'll see y'all niggas later. Peace.
Peace.